friends, my name is Alex Karekis, and I want to welcome you to my Finding Lost Civilization series. I'm standing at the summit of Eagle Rock, which overlooks Lake Tahoe in the California Sierras. And we're going to trek here today to visit ancient sites that time has long forgotten. So come join me. I know we're going to have a lot of fun. Well, friends, as I was walking off Eagle Summit, I looked to my left and I saw a cave. And I remember in some ancient oral history that there was a cave on Eagle Summit, a place where the Washoe Indians came and worshipped. And we're going towards that spot right now. I tell you, this is really exciting. We're back on a trail together. You are going to see exactly what I see as we come to this location, to this ancient worship spot. My goodness, look at it. I tell you what, it's fabulous. Look at that. Look at that overhang above us. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go forward. Here we go. I tell you, this is wonderful. This is a fantastic place. Oh my goodness. There are no petroglyphs here, but there's an ancient inscription, or I should say, a historic inscription, and it's dated 1895. We're going to climb up to that spot and we're going to take a look at it. Oh no, my goodness, look at this. I do actually see an ancient, my goodness, pictograph. Well, friends, what I'm going to try to do is to climb up to the spot directly above us. Directly below me, about 15 to 20 feet, I was able to climb up this ledge, so to speak. It's always easier to come up than going down. But here we are, we're on the first ledge. And what I'll do is I'll grab on to these basalt stone that are protruding from the cliff face here. So we're working our way gingerly right here to this spot. Oh my goodness, look at this over here. I can see that the name is Lucille. Interesting. A woman's name, Lucille Staffler, Staffler, on July 4th, 1895. And then there's another Staffler name there. Looks like it has an initial before the S, maybe her husband. Let's work our way up there. Well, friends, I'm directly below what I believe are some ancient Washoe Indian pictographs. I could be wrong, but right over here it almost looks like a human figure. Look at this right over here. And then right over here, I don't know, it has the stick figure characteristics, and of course two other things over there that I really can't discern. And I do believe they are pictographs, because if you look at the wall, look at this. I mean, it's all black. The only other color here is this red, historic. Oh my goodness, look at this. Here is something else right over here. So whoever placed their initials here in 1895 seemed to have covered over some yellow ochre type design over here. You can see from that figure over here, there's these lines that go down, and they terminate right over here. Well, unfortunately, even this historic pictograph painted over an ancient Washoe Indian pictograph. Well, either way, I'm happy that we had a chance to trek to this spot and see these wonderful sights. Let's explore further over here. All right, this is the ledge. This is the platform. My goodness, I'm excited. What else shall we find here? Let's take a close look. My goodness, look at this over here. This is a great place to have a shelter. Right below us, we have the embers from a fire that was here at one time. So modern man came here for the same reason that the ancients once did. This ledge, this small cave, provided shelter from the elements. What a fantastic place to visit. Friends, aside from this fantastic shelter here, I would say that there's 3 different shelter areas. Right here to our left is a great overhang. You can see it. So this did provide some shelter. But over here, it's deeper and still very tall. But right over here is a low ceiling shelter. Let's go take a look at it. So at this very spot, there are 3 areas where the ancients could have actually set up camp. Look at this over here. Oh yes, it goes back about 20 to 30 feet. It's a low cave, probably no more than 4 or 5 feet towards the end, but it levels out, and so it provides a good platform for someone to stay overnight. And right over here, it splits, and there's another little platform directly to our front. And this is the view that you would have from these shelter worship spots. Look at that. Isn't that fantastic? My goodness, it really is beautiful. Well, friends, as we trek along this wonderful area here in the Lake Tahoe area, I want to mention that many people that come here look around at the trees and the foliage and think this is how Lake Tahoe was forever. This is how Lake Tahoe was 1,000 years ago. So beautiful. But in fact, Lake Tahoe was almost destroyed by modern man. 200 years ago, the trees around us, for the most part, didn't exist. It was clear-cut for logging operations, and many of the streams in this area were diverted for this operation, and the streams became dry or were even poisoned. Now this clear-cut method, this idea to process the lumber from this area, was one of the direct results which led to the demise of the Washoe Indians in this area. You know, can you imagine coming to a place devoid of any trees? Well, the first thing that would happen is the animal life that lived here, which was a food source, would disappear. Now another factor was the pine nuts produced by the trees here was also a food staple. And so that was gone. The animals were gone and the plant life was gone. There was no reason to live here. And in fact you couldn't, because your food source supply had been destroyed. Now luckily much of this has been restored. And the only evidence that we can find of ancient life here in this area are the mortars left behind by the people that once lived here. I'd like to mention that the Washoe Indians still exist. They did not disappear. They live and prosper today. Anyways, let's continue on this trek. I know we're going to have a lot of fun today. Friends, let me show you what I meant about the age of trees and clear cutting and whatnot. This forest here is a young forest. On the average, it's probably not more than 120 to 130 years old. Right over here, we have a tree that was felled. I counted the tree rings there. There were 120 tree rings in that tree. It's 120 years old. As I said, most of this area was in fact cleared of lumber close to 200 years ago. So what we see before us is a new forest. Friends, tree rings are really fascinating. Not only can you tell how old the tree is, how many years it lived, by counting the tree rings, you can also tell whether it was a rainy or dry season. Look at this over here. Some of these tree rings, right over here where my finger is, are close together. But as you go further out over here, you can see that this is a fairly wide pattern over here. This indicates that those years it was wet and lush. And by counting from year 1 to perhaps here, like say 75 years, you can look at historic weather records and you'll see that it'll be verified that it was a wet and rainy season that year of this tree ring here. So this is really interesting, a fascinating thing about tree rings. As I was walking in a forest, I noticed this very interesting trunk. Look at this here before us. Friends, now this is what an original Lake Tahoe tree would look like. This tree is 5 to 6 times wider than the last tree that we looked at. If you count the rings from the center out over here, with this tree being in diameter 4 to 5 times bigger than the other one, this tree is at least 400 years old. This tree was here for many, many years. This is really fascinating. This is a really large tree trunk, and is an example of what the original trees looked like here in terms of width, their girth, and their size. Friends, this tree is at least 6.5 feet across. Let me step up here. Okay, there's foot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And over here is the outer edge, almost 7 feet. This is a very old and large original growth tree. Well, I'm so glad I was able to show you the difference between the trees that are growing here now. Look at this over here. These trees are small. Look at their trunks compared to this one over here. Well, let's continue our trek. I know I'm having a lot of fun today, and I hope you're enjoying this little trek through the Tahoe wilderness with me. Friends, as I'm trekking along here in the Tahoe Basin, I'm looking for signs of life. As I was walking along this trail, I saw this large boulder which looked unusual. And so I went up to this boulder. I was looking for signs of life. I was looking for some mortars, a place where the ancients prepared their food. Now the reason I came to this area is directly in front of us is a slope, and below the slope is a stream. But then as I came to this boulder and started examining the top surface, I cleared away some pine needles and discovered a mortar. This was a site where the ancients once prepared their food. Will you look at that? This is really fantastic. Friends, as I was walking along this area, I made a fantastic discovery. Look at this right over here. That, my friends, is a grinding stone. It's called a mano. Right here, it's as smooth as silk. And this stone was used in this manner to grind. The reason I know this is a grinding stone is not only does it have the classic shape of one, but look at, on the ground laying not too far away is the actual grinding slick, or what's called the metate. Let's take a look. See this here curvular, configuration? If you can imagine this grinding slick being twice as big. So it continued in a curvular fashion and then straight down over here. Now this area right here is as smooth as silk. This is a grinding platform. And let me show you something. We're going to take this grinding stone over here, I tell you what, and put it right here. Look at that. It fits perfectly. My goodness, this is a companion piece. And to find these two together laying here for hundreds of years is just really incredible. Now here's how it would work. This is what would happen right over here. This is the grinding action. So seeds and grasses would be ground here into fine flour. Look at that. I tell you what, it's truly amazing. I think right over here, you can see it's roughed out. This is a spot. This was the resting spot for this grinding stone. This is the metate and this is the mano. I'll tell you what, this is really a fantastic find. Friends, we're hiking towards a place called Rattlesnake Creek, which is just below us. And across the creek, there are some petroglyphs, which are said to be thousands of years old. Well, friends, directly in front of me is the creek. What I'm trying to do is find a spot that I can cross over without getting wet. I'll tell you, it's a tough day if you got to slog around with wet feet and boots. Well, friends, across Rattlesnake Creek, I made it safely to this side. And so, I'm going to trek forward up to the hill over there and see if I can find these ancient Martis-style petroglyphs. This should be exciting, my friends. I hope you're having as much fun on this trek as I am. Well, friends, I see this flat surface over here. Let's take a real close look. Let's see if we can find any symbols. I'll tell you what, these Martis symbols are thousands of years old and probably are very faint. You see this over here, this scatter of rocks on this downward slope, which during the wintertime, boulders and other rocks scrape along the surface here. And so they abrade many of the signs that the ancients left behind. My goodness. Oh, look at this. We are here, my friends, right over here. Look at this, directly in front of me. Do you see this symbol right here? Look at this. Here is an ancient symbol. My goodness, we're right here. We're right on top of them. Oh my goodness, look at this one right over here. Do you see it? It's the zigzag line. Let me go around here. There it is. It goes this way, this way, this way. Can you see it, my friends? This is really fantastic. Oh my goodness, I see the symbol of the bear clan. This is really great. Here in the Tahoe Sierras, there's a lot of bears, and so this symbol is found often. Look at this right here. Okay, can you see it? It's the outline. It's the outline of a bear paw, and here are the toes. Look at this right over here. This is really fantastic. My goodness, friends, we have found these symbols. They have been here for thousands of years, hidden from man. But now for you and I to share. Look at this right here. Here. This is an archaic symbol. These could be 4,000 or 5,000 years old. My goodness. Okay, let's continue our search. Let's see what else we can find here. There are many symbols here. I am sure of it. Look at this here. So we're going to inspect all this here, all this slide, so to speak, this slope, and see if we can find any more symbols. Okay, friends, this is another area that we're looking at. Oh my goodness, I can see another bear paw symbol. Look at this. No, I see another one. Okay, let me come in close. Okay, do you see this right here? This is a small one right here. Right there, that's the bear claw symbol. But right over here, do you see it? Right over here. Here are the claws, and here's the outline of the foot, so to speak. Another bear, two bear claw symbols right here. Here's the other one, and hopefully you can see this a little better. There it is. I'll tell you, I'm excited. Well, let's continue our search. Let's look for other ancient symbols. I want to find a spiral. I love spirals. Spirals are found as symbols by ancient man throughout this world. And so, let's see if we can find one. We're very lucky to have found these petroglyphs. These are being abraded away. Nature is sending them away. These will not be destroyed by man. Look at this right here. There's the slope coming down from the hill. And look at this. In a summertime or in a springtime when the snow melts, all these rocks, all these boulders tumble down here. And as they tumble down, they scrape away, and eventually the petroglyphs disappear. As I said, we're on a quest to find a spiral. I tell you what, this is really going to be fast. Oh my goodness, look at this over here. Look. We have found it. I tell you what, this might not be here 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years from now. Look it up there. Look at that giant boulder sitting up there. Next year it might tumble down here, land on this spiral and break it apart. I tell you, we're lucky. We are very lucky to have found these symbols. Let's follow this, I'll call downflow, okay? Let's see if we can find any more symbols. Oh my goodness, okay, I can see some right here directly in front of us. Look at this over here. Can you see it? I see a concentric circle right over here. Right there. There's one there. And there's another symbol of a possible paw. Look at this. There were other symbols here, but again, they're quickly being abraded by nature. I tell you what, we are really lucky. So we're standing at the top of the hill, and this is the downward slope into the creek over there. Friends, as I follow this downflow, this downslope, where the ancient petroglyphs are located, I ask myself, what did ancient men think? Why did they put them here? Today it's obvious that this runoff, this spill off from the high ground to the low ground will abrade these petroglyphs. They'll eventually erase them away. So what's the climate like? Was it different? Was the topography different? Were the conditions different? Today, obviously, they're devastating to the petroglyphs. So these are some of the questions, at least, that I ask myself when I look at this. Why did ancient man put these petroglyphs in a place where nature will eventually abrade them? Well, friends, I had a fantastic time here trekking amongst these ancient petroglyphs. I often ask myself, what do these symbols mean and why did ancient man place them here? Well, their true meaning has been lost in time and we can only speculate. Now, the bear claw symbols that we've seen over here, we can say that perhaps ancient man put him there because the grizzly bear, the black bear, the brown bear abounded in this area, and they were strong and powerful, strong medicine, so to speak. Well, the interesting thing is just yesterday, my friend Doc Hale, who is an ethnobiologist, and I were trekking in the woods close by, and we encountered some bear tracks. So I'm going to let Doc Hale explain these tracks to you. I tell you, I think the symbols that we saw, the petroglyphs that we saw of the bear claw are very similar to the bear prints that we found on the ground. Anyways, judge for yourself.
Here we've got American black bear prints. We have a front left paw right here with the second, third, fourth, and fifth digit, and then a rear right paw. And you can see the huge plantar pad with the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth digits registering. Probably a 350 to 400 pound bear.